artificial intelligence,
AI showed us that you can be a designer if you even don't know how to use any kind of design tools. And AI has replaced non-designers who actually learn to know the design tools. So our next speaker understands this very deeply, and today's talk will be about how AI is redefining design leadership. He is a senior principal product designer at Infinite and founder of Codepedia. So please welcome with a huge round of applause, Mr. Dijup Tuladhar.
All good. Hi, everyone. I was thinking of good morning, but it's afternoon, so good afternoon to everyone. That's my brain right now. So, a quick question. How many of you had a quick business idea, you tried it, or you thought of it, but dropped since you didn't have a resource, or you didn't have any idea how to make it or how to make it work? Can anyone raise your hands? How many of those ideas did you work on or tried something, tried to code it or tried your friends and asked them to make a code for it? And how many of it went beyond the MVP? I just see 2 hands there. So, okay, today's session, it's all about design, and I'm just trying to portray a few of the ways that we can elaborate the AI, use it, and work out on our business ideas so that we can make it live. So my topic is Beyond UI UX, and I will be more talking about transferring the design leadership, decision making, and the strategy that normally our enterprise takes while making any enterprise products. So this is my brief introduction. So I'm Dijup Tuladhar, as mentioned by our host. So principal product designer at Infinite, as well as Codepedia, and founder of Codepedia. That's my personal pet project which I work on. So, that was quick. As I asked the question, now with the help of AI, we have lots of ways that we can try out the business idea that we had in our brain. So this was one of the ideas that I tried using simple 2 or 3 AI tools. One was Copilot, which I tried for the prompting. I used the spec kit that was there to help me in the prompting. And I used VS Code. So simply using these 2-3 codes, okay, I forgot the first one. That was the ChatGPT. So what I did was I simply note down a simple business idea. In my case, that was, look at my stomach. So I tried to be a fit. So I thought of creating an app to track the intermittent fasting. I started with just create me an intermittent fasting app. With that, I went to the ChatGPT. I asked it. It gave me a full page PRD. From there, I used the Copilot using the VS Code, and from there, it converted into a working application. So this was a quite short story. There was a full 1-day work that I did, which was the next attempt, but my first attempt took me 3 or 4 days due to lack of my knowledge or due to my, hurry, trying to do everything in hurry. What I did was I asked everything to ChatGPT. He gave me everything, and I just converted everything into product, and that was totally messed. I tried for 4 or 5 days, and finally, there was nothing that I can demonstrate. So after failing once, I tried it again. I tried with the more descriptive idea, goals, users, and the problem, and finally, I was able to get something that was working within a day. So if we prompt properly, we will get a proper output, and we can use it for our product development as well. So going back to the topic, why this topic matters. So design is changing fast. You can see like we have Tools like Figma Make, Lovable, who is our sponsor as well. And there are other tools as a Stitch. There are many tools which help us in designing. But with that, the designers, I think there are lots of, I want to see a raised hand by designers who are in the hall. Designers. Oh, yeah, a few hands. So, yeah, design is changing. Like, I remember back days when we used to work with Photoshop or the Illustrator. I used to design in Illustrator, then convert it into Photoshop, slice it, and convert finally to the website, which has been gone. Those days are not there. Now everything is in Figma. We try a Figma Make, then convert it using Figma, and convert it a walking prototype using AI. So changes are works and things. So at the same time, we are just thinking about ourselves, but we are missing out the leaders. So leader matters more. So the execution part is more taking place in the leadership area. So how traditional product development works in an enterprise? So this is a traditional way. In an enterprise, we normally go through the discovery phase where the different idea is discovered. We go through the PRDs, we design it, we launch the design. At the same time, we try for the MVP, which will be a minimum viable product, which we try to push it forward to the market or to our stakeholders and see how our idea works and test it. So once we are good with it, we are back to the same. We go to the discovery phase again, we try to elaborate our MVP, then we go to the PRD, design, launch, and launch a full-fledged product. So this was what we have been doing. And I remember the last product I run, we started the first phase back 2024, and the first quarter of 26, we are trying to implement it. So it's like more than 1.5 years. It's just the MVP that we are trying to run with people of 4, 5, 6 teams that we are trying to implement it. So the loop of the product development is quite high with the stack, with the team, and with time. So everything is like quite slow, though it's quite rigid as well. With the AI, the things are changing now. Similarly, on the next product, what we did is we used the AI on discovery part and took it as a tool for us on the development. So we asked a question to it. We had an assumption based on the help of AI. We used the prompting, prototyping, used the Figma Make for the initial prototyping, use its variation part. Like we created one design and asked Figma Make to help us with the different versions of it. At the same time, the changes were iterative. So now, since we are not designing every other options, so for us, it's quite easy for us to just ask the AI to help us with the variations of it. Might be with the color. Normally, when we go to the executive and show our designs, the problem that they ask, or the issue that they have is with the font style, colors, logo size, design size. Those all things can be handled through the prompt, and it's quite easy as well. You don't need to get back to the meeting after a week with some font change or with the change in the font size or background colors, those simple things. Those can be done in prompt and in iterative as well with the help of AI. So this can be the summary of what we are doing now. So before it was a more manual work or the show productions. Now it's help of the AI, the execution is fast, and the more time we have for the thinking or more on the product end. So where's the big shift? So since the designing is entering into the new phase, now previously we started from the UI, it went to the UX, then it came a system design. Now everything is changing more towards the AI-assisted leadership. With that, tools no longer just help us, it helps us to design as well. Previously, there was a tool like Photoshop. It used to help us to convert our idea into design, but now, like a Figma Make, it's helping us to design as well. So that's changing how things are there, or how the leaders are thinking as well, and how we lead it. The next is how AI changes the fundamental things, or AI is removing the frictions from the design work. As I said, Now, since we are able to make the changes very fast than what we used to do, so the time on the production is more, so we can go quickly to the productions. Faster access to the insights. Since we have AI, we can feed it with the data and we get the insight from there. We have more room for the judgment. Now we can think. We don't have to wait a week for just the design changes, but we can give that particular time to our leaders so that they can think on product futures and the product roadmaps as well. So this is how design is changing, or UI is changing for the lead. So now the UI makers is converting into a design leaders. So what things are changing is from the screens that we used to design, now we are designing the systems so that it can understand the design of the product and help us to grow it. The next is from the tasks that we used to do or we used to get, we are more focused on the direction where we want to take to our product, as well as from the output that we were focused on, like one particular thing changed, now we are more focused on the outcomes of the product overall. So the next is doing to directing. That's where we want to move forward, right? And for that, we need more research. Here, using the AI, we have an options of generating many options. We create a competitive patterns, different options for the users. We can highlight the gaps between the requirement that we had from the leadership, which is helping us on directing part. So next is the decision making. So better inputs equals to better decisions. So like visual trade-offs, it helps in the comparing the ideas, as well as less option driven, so which reduce the risks for the product development as well. More confidence since the scenario is already explored, because we have tried many options using the AI, right? So now we are more like, instead of executing everything, we are converting ourselves into leaders. Now we are directing them to what to do and what not to, based on the different aspects of product, based on the result that we got from the AI. So now we have less manual work, we have more directions, and more strategic focus on what we are trying to achieve. So this is one of the first workflow example that I want to go through. That's on research synthesis. See, okay, let me phrase one story in this part. So when in early days, before the AI, so how things was going was like, we asked our client, our product, our business, our client services to get more insights on the thing that they are trying to build. So each three teams have their own perspective of looking into the products. So the business is more business-centric, the client services is more focused on the client part, whereas the product team focus on the more product development end. So basically for any product development, what we used to do is we used to collect the feedbacks, we collect surveys, we used to do a product review session, close indoor webinars, all those things. And we used to get lots of feedback from there. Lots of feedbacks, piles of it. So one thing, or the one challenge that we faced on that part was there was too many informations. And to highlight or index those changes or the feedback that we got from the system or from the users is damn time-taking, and it took ages to sort it out. So which one to pick it up, what are the core values of the changes, where the feedback is concentrated. Those things are like normally missed out because like humans try to sort it out and index those changes. So with the AI, what we are trying to do is we note it down everything, we pass those information as a cluster to the AI, it reviews for us, it gives us the insights, what is there with all those information, what are aggregate things that the people are trying to say, and what are the pain points that they have on our product. And it helps us to make the decision which can be very good for our product, right? Finally, what we are trying to do. And that creates the clarity for what we are trying to build. So it gives us what we want and where we are trying to go. The next example is on the exploration or scalability. So broad example or smart focus. Here simply a prompt or AI generated variations. Now let's take an example of like we were trying to build a client profile page. And we went to the executive. There was one product where we had options of displaying all the information regarding the users with the account and everything. So we created one design and went to the executive. So the simple response was, there were a few things that he asked us, like this is missing, this is need to be removed, and these things need to be added, all those things. If our old workflow was there, simply we used to go back, we make the design changes, come back after a week, then we start making changes to those things. Once they approve, we go to the next phase. But with the introduction of AI on that particular part, what we do is we go to the Figma Make at the prompt, we ask them to give us the options with those feedback that we got. We get the prompt next variation of that particular design. And even there, we can create a multiple design options with the multiple scenario that we can think, at least 5, 6, or 7 different variations of the design. And based on that, we can select the appropriate one. So the process goes like we prompt it, we generate the variations, we select the best one, and we refine it. That's the exploration of the design. The next one is decision supports. So as we discussed earlier, in earlier stage, what we did is like we created multiple options or multiple scenarios for the same product using different ideas, right? So now it's very hard for anyone to choose from 8 different options, right? So what here comes in is like user factors kicks in here. So normally we go to it, we evaluate it, we select the base tool from there. We do our technical effort selections, we see the business values on it, so how business can get output from it, how quickly they can turn it around, and how market can react on that part. So based on those 2 selections, now what we can do is we can pass those 2 new designs or 2 final designs that we have concluded, pass it to the AI, ask them to do an analysis on those 2 designs. AI can help us giving the full-fledged report on what are the things that's working, what are not, where you need to focus, what are the things that's missing in it, what are the gaps, and what are the things that need to be roadmapped so that we can build it in the future as well. So AI is helping us on that end so that it can just give us the prompt response and help us to make a decision based on the data, not just on the view. So instead of just looking at how a blue color is fine, or red color is fine, or the small button is fine, instead of those things, we have now a numbers which can, or the data which can help us to select the best options from the one that we have already selected. That helps us in the decision making. So AI helps us on those selecting the correct one with the correct options. The 4th options that we have here is the design operations. So I remember back when I started early designing, changing one button in one full-fledged product was like a week task. Changing one font color or font size in one full-fledged application was at least 3 or 4 days. I used to go there, change font in one design, and go back to the next one, open it, and change there again. So all those things, though it looks like a very small thing, just changing the font size, but it was taking time. Changing the color, just 2 or 3 pixels up and down was like just, for executive, it was just like, okay, just make those things 2 or 3 pixels smaller or something like that. But for us, me being a designer, it was like, okay, it was like a nightmare. So it will take a week, sometimes, or days. So the things were going bad on that part. So with the introduction of AI, or with the introduction of Figma, now what we can do is, we can simply instruct AI or the Figma to help us to make those changes. I remember copying everything from Lauren Ibsen's site. How many of you recall that Lauren Ibsen website? Good one, right? That was the lifesaver for me as well. I used to we need to have a lot of content in the website, and we didn't have any text or anything to write it down. So what we used to do is we go to Lorries and copy everything from there and paste it and make it as a placeholder for the content. But now with the introduction of AI, the Figma, you can just right-click on it, give him the context, what you want. AI can build those content for you. So it gives us what you want, how you want, and gives the message as well, like how you want to deliver it. That's helping us in the scalability. So the things that you were doing in a month or a week, now you can do it in hour, I think, not hour as well, like in few minutes. just ask the AI to change the content or change the font or change the color. It will give you a result within 5 minutes, just 2 prompts ahead. So with this, how AI is changing. So if you look at these 4 points, that you can see how AI is changing the decisions for the leaders. Now, it's giving us the clarity, it's helping us in the exploration, it's helping on decision making, as well as it's helping on scalability as well. It's helping us to scale fast. With the changes, the thing that we are missing is, we being a developer or the designer, what we are thinking is, we are doing work fast, right? Using either the Copilot, we are doing a vibe coding, we are doing many things. But one thing that we are missing is our leaders, our business, our product, even they are using the AI, and we are missing that part. So with the introduction of those things in our end as well, so before they used to give us a requirement, like they used to write all the ACs and like the stories, the epics, they used to take a month at least to prepare a full PRD. Now they can do a PRD preparation within half an hour. That might not be a complete one, but at least they can help them to start, and with the using of AI, at least in a day they can create a full-fledged PRD which is focused on what they want and how they want it. So with the changes in the development and the design, the things are changing in the leadership as well, and we need to understand that part. So here AI is bringing clarity from the chaosness that we used to have. It's expanding the options with the ego. AI is supporting us in the confident decision making, and AI is removing the operational frictions as well. So what this doesn't mean is, so don't be afraid like AI is eating everything up. So the taste still matters, though like AI can help us on selecting the best options, but the choosing the colors, the best font for our websites, or the people that we are interact with, the users who will be using it, those decision making, the taste part is still on our side or in the user side, as well as the judgmental still matters on how we want those things to work and how we want those to be presented to our users. Those things are still with the human, as well as the leadership matters more. So it gives us the direction where we want to move our product and where we want to take that, so that in the future it can help us to grow. So designers for 2026, AI amplifies the designer. So now the creativity is increasing, influence is growing, as well as the leadership matters more now in this case. So be prepared for all those things. So this is the message that I want to pass forward to everyone. Start using AI now, not tomorrow, not today, now. So use AI for research, explore more options, automate the operation that you are trying to build or that you are trying to do, build a narrative on that part so that it can help you to grow, as well as your team and your leaders, so that that can help us to create a more user-friendly and user-interactive products. With that, AI won't take your jobs, but designers who uses AI will. So be the users who will be using the AI for their growth as well as for their product. With that, thank you everyone. Let's continue the conversation. That's where you can get, that's not my QR, that's my app QR, sorry for that. But there where you can catch me up. Thank you everyone. Bye.